Thanks, Jim. Justin Stone here with EliteBaseball.tv. The tip of the week this week, Thanksgiving week, is what are we thankful for in the game of baseball? And I think back in my own short playing career, my long coaching career, and coming where I came from in a small farm town in southern Illinois, I've got a lot to be thankful for in my ability to stay in the game as long as I have. I tell people all the time when I'm speaking at clinics, I feel like I'm one of the most fortunate people in the game and in the world because I've never really had another job but baseball, yet I didn't play one day of pro ball. And my point of this is the game of baseball can beat you up. It's a frustrating game. Kids at the ages of 12 and 13 sometimes get so frustrated by the game and the amount of failure built into it that they quit. So as a parent, we need to keep pretty good perspective that the game of baseball is hard. It's going to face us with challenges throughout our playing career, however long that lasts. But I'll tell you what I do know about this game. You stay in it long enough, you pay your dues, you work hard and respect the game, and eventually at some point the game will pay you back. My first job I took as a collegiate coach, Division I assistant coach, I made $16,000 in my first year. I was still taking money from my parents who were realizing that I was chasing a dream. I wasn't playing pro ball, I was 22 years old, and I thought this thing in college baseball coaching is what I was going to do the rest of my life. Lucky enough to have parents that could help support me in that dream, but they knew how passionate I was about chasing down my dream of staying in baseball as long as I could. And people ask me today of running an academy, a place like this, of, how do you do that? How did you get to the point where you run a baseball academy? And I said, working about 7 days a week, 355 days a year for very little pay for about 10, 12 years. Then I was able to finally make it on my own. And that's what it takes to make it in this game. Whether you're coaching, whether you're playing, you have to pay your dues. You're going to invest your heart and soul into this game, and eventually it will pay you back. It will make you happy. And all the frustrating parts about it of being left out of the draft or thinking about how frustrating my beginning portion of my college playing career was because simply I wasn't physical enough and I wasn't good enough and I was back on the lowest part of the totem pole. Those things all make you stronger and all make you better. Baseball, more than any other game, sets you up for success in life for the amount of failure you have to deal with and the perseverance that it's required to succeed. And you got to do that in life too. The earlier we learn that from the youth setting, those are lessons that I say all the time. I learned on steamy July days taking 100 ground balls with my mother. Learning that nothing was going to be handed to me, that I was going to get anything I got out of this game and out of life by exactly what I earned and exactly what I worked for. And that a hard day's work sometimes leaves you sweaty, definitely dirty, and sometimes even bloody. And some of those, the ironic part is some of those is a lot of symbolism for what I've dealt with in my life through baseball and where it's taken me today. We were fortunate enough to have the Chicago Cubs coaches in running a camp with us in our facility this past weekend. Andy Haynes, a longtime friend, very similar background as me. We grew up in Southern Illinois. We both played at Eastern Illinois, which doesn't often produce great players, but has produced a lot of great coaches. And now Andy is sitting himself in a dugout in Wrigley Field as the assistant big league hitting coach for the Chicago Cubs. Again, a guy that didn't play a day of pro ball. We talked about our backgrounds being so similar and saying, Stoney, you got to kind of pinch yourself once in a while to realize where you're at. But he's there, and we talked about that because of the amount of time he spent as a grad assistant in college, grinding out hitting coach and managerial work in indie ball, getting a chance to coach A-ball and work your way up through the different minor league systems and finally making your chance at the big league level 17 years later. Celebrate your victories this week as well. Get better at one little thing and take one more step in the journey. Until next week, this is Justin Stone with EliteBaseball.tv, and we'll see you on the field.